He only wanted to teach the maid's daughter how to play chess. But then, he realized this little girl could beat champions, and worse. She was the daughter he never knew he had. The first time Zara saw the golden chess set, she thought it was something from a dream. It gleamed in the center of a grand library where the ceiling kissed the clouds and a chandelier sparkled like upside-down icicles. She wasn't supposed to be here. She pressed her nose to the window of a car that cost more than everything in their apartment combined. The mansion looked like it belonged in a fairy tale. White columns, a fountain shaped like angels, and glass windows that caught the sun like diamonds. "Remember what I told you?" her mother, Maria, whispered, smoothing Zara's curls with trembling fingers. "Be polite, be quiet, don't touch anything." Zara nodded. She was good at being quiet. At 8 years old, she'd already learned that quiet girls got in less trouble. She clutched her math workbook like a shield as they stepped into a world of marble floors and golden silence. Maria pushed a cart of cleaning supplies ahead of her. They moved past rooms filled with art, furniture that looked too fancy to sit on, and finally into a library. No, the library. Zara stopped. Books rose from the floor to the ceiling, thousands of them. They smelled like stories and dust and time. And in the middle of all that wonder sat the chess set. It wasn't like the plastic board at school with the pieces missing. This one looked like it belonged to kings and queens. The gold and silver figures stood proud, each with its own character, warriors waiting for command. Zara forgot to breathe. "Wow," she whispered, then caught herself. "Zara," her mother called. "Homework, now, and no touching." Zara sat at a tiny table near the window and opened her workbook, but her eyes kept sneaking back to the chessboard. She knew a little about the game. Her teacher once showed them how the knight moves in an L shape, but she'd never played. Not really. She imagined the queen sweeping across the board like a dancer, the pawns marching like a tiny army. "You like chess?" Zara's pencil flew off the table. She turned to see a tall man in a navy suit. His gray hair was neat, his eyes a calm kind of blue. I wasn't touching it," she said quickly. "I was just looking." "That's okay," he smiled. "I asked if you like chess." "I don't know, I've never played a real game." Maria appeared in an instant, eyes wide. "Mr. Blake, I'm so sorry." "She's not bothering me," he said, eyes still on Zara. "Actually, I could use the company. Would you like to learn, just for fun?" Zara blinked. "Me?" "If your mom says it's okay." Maria looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. "Mr. Blake, you really don't have to. I'm not too busy to teach a bright young lady." Zara looked at her mother, then at the chessboard, then at Mr. Blake. "Yes, please." He gestured to the other side of the chess table. Up close, the pieces were even more beautiful. Mr. Blake explained how each piece moved, but something strange happened. Zara didn't just listen. She understood. When he said, "The pawn moves forward but captures diagonally," she nodded. "That makes sense," she said, "like it's sneaky." He chuckled. "Yes, sneaky." They played a small practice game. Zara lost, badly, but she saw it all like a movie in her mind, 3, 4 moves ahead. She almost trapped his king once. Almost. "You're a very quick learner," Mr. Blake said, watching her. His smile was gentle, but his eyes held something else. A flicker, like he was remembering someone. "Would you like to come back tomorrow?" Zara bounced in her chair. "Can I, Mama?" Maria hesitated. "If Mr. Blake is sure, I'm very sure." That night, back in their cramped apartment, Zara lay in bed staring at the ceiling. "Do I look like anyone you know?" she asked the darkness. Maria, in the kitchen, went still. "What do you mean?" "Mr. Blake looked at me funny, like he'd seen me before." "You look like you," Maria said quickly. "That's all that matters." But Zara noticed her mother didn't turn on the hallway light like usual. Instead, she sat on the couch holding something in her lap. something small and square and wrapped in ribbon. The next morning, Zara barely made it through school. During math, she drew knights and bishops in the margins of her paper. At 3 p.m., she practically ran to the car. "Can we go now, please?" Maria laughed softly. "Someone's excited." At the mansion, Mr. Blake was already waiting. The chessboard was set. "Ready for round 2? "Yes, sir." Zara lost again, but she lasted longer. She even put his king in check once, and she started seeing patterns, traps, defenses, openings. "It's like they're dancing," she said, watching the pieces. Mr. Blake tilted his head. "Do you dream about chess?" "Sometimes," Zara admitted. "Last night I dreamed the queen flew like a bird." He leaned back, nodding slowly. "What else do you dream about?" "I dream I have a daddy," she said quietly. "He teaches me things. We play games. He looks kind, with gray hair, kinda like you." Maria dropped a dusting cloth. She didn't say a word. Mr. Blake's face went pale. He cleared his throat. "Same time tomorrow?" "Yes, sir." But as they left that evening, Zara looked back. Mr. Blake stood at the library window, watching them. His expression was full of something she didn't have a name. The next day, Zara didn't bounce into Mr. Blake's mansion the way she had before. She floated. Her feet barely touched the floor, like her sneakers had been replaced with little clouds. The moment the front door opened and the scent of old books and lemon polish hit her nose, she knew. This wasn't just a visit anymore. This was hers, too. Mr. Blake was already in the library, the chess set glowing under the skylight like it knew she was coming. "Good afternoon, Zara," he said, smiling in that way grown-ups usually say for birthday cakes and new puppies. "Hi, Mr. Blake." Maria gave her the "remember what I said" look, the one that tightened her lips and made her eyes sharp. But Zara just nodded and sat down at the table. This time she set up the pieces herself, carefully, reverently, like they were little soldiers getting ready for battle. "You remembered where everything goes," Mr. Blake said, genuinely impressed. Zara smiled. "Of course." They played again, and again, and then again. By the third game, Mr. Blake was scratching his head, laughing softly. "You're going to ruin my ego, you know that?" "What's an ego?" "It's the part of me that likes to win." Zara grinned. "Then maybe you should stop playing with someone awesome." Mr. Blake laughed, full and real this time. "Fair enough." They went through moves together, replaying moments from the game like detectives at a crime scene. "See?" Zara pointed. "If your bishop goes here, my knight can jump and take it." Mr. Blake rubbed his chin. "And I didn't see that. How did you?" Zara shrugged. "I don't know, it just felt like it was going to happen." They played until the afternoon sun had slid halfway across the marble floor, until Maria came in, holding her cleaning gloves like she was wringing out a sponge. "It's time to go." "One more game?" Zara pleaded. Mr. Blake looked up. "What do you think, Maria?" Maria's eyes softened just a little. "One more." As they left the mansion, Zara spotted a tall woman standing by a black car out front. She was wearing a dark blue suit and sunglasses and had a suitcase in one hand. "Who's that?" Mr. Blake glanced over. "Just someone visiting. Nothing to worry about." Zara shrugged, but her curiosity flickered. That night, back at home, she drew a chessboard in her notebook. She filled it in with patterns she had seen in the game. She even gave her pawns little names: Pablo, Patrice, Penelope. The queen was always Queen Z, obviously. Then she remembered something. The picture. She crept into the kitchen. Maria was asleep on the couch, her hand resting on that same faded ribbon-wrapped box. Zara tiptoed closer. She didn't open it, but she looked. And on top, right where her mother had tucked it away, was the photo. The next morning, her breakfast tasted like paper, and her shoelaces wouldn't tie right. She got the answer to a math problem wrong, twice, and her teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, raised an eyebrow. "Zara! Earth to Zara!" "Sorry." At lunch, her best friend Emma poked at her pizza. "Are you drawing again?" Zara nodded. "Chess stuff?" She nodded again. Emma wrinkled her nose. "You're becoming a total chess nerd. Is that a bad thing?" Emma grinned. "Only if you start naming your pawns." Zara coughed. "Too late." By 3:15, Zara was back in the car, vibrating with excitement. Maria was quiet. Too quiet. "Are we still going?" Maria nodded. "Yes, baby, we're going." "But something's wrong." Maria didn't answer. At the mansion, Mr. Blake was already waiting, and he wasn't alone. A woman stood beside him, the same one from yesterday. She looked sharp, like she could checkmate you with one eyebrow raise. "Zara," Mr. Blake said, "this is Dr. Lisa Chen. She's a friend of mine, and one of the best chess teachers in the world." Zara blinked. "Like a real chess coach?" Dr. Chen stepped forward. "I heard you've been giving Mr. Blake some trouble on the board." Zara looked up at Mr. Blake. He nodded. "Would you like to play a game with her?" Zara's heart thudded. "Yes, I think so." They sat. The golden board between them looked more serious today, like it was holding its breath. Zara moved first. The king's pawn 2 squares forward. Dr. Chen responded calmly, watching Zara's eyes, her fingers, her posture. 5 moves in, the woman's eyebrow twitched. 10 moves in, she was leaning forward. By move 15, she had stopped smiling. Zara didn't notice. She was too busy seeing it, the plan, the shape of things to come. Her knights were weaving a net. Her bishops were aiming like arrows. Her queen waited, patient. "Check," she whispered. Dr. Chen blinked. A few moves later, it was over. Zara won. The silence in the library was so loud it felt like thunder in disguise. Then Dr. Chen exhaled. "Well, that was unexpected." "Did I do something wrong?" Zara asked. "No, sweetheart," Dr. Chen said softly. "You did something extraordinary." Mr. Blake beamed. Maria looked like she wanted to cry, or run, or both. "Can I play again?" Zara asked. Dr. Chen looked at Mr. Blake. "She's the real thing. I need to show her something." From her briefcase, she pulled out a thick puzzle book, complicated diagrams, black and white illustrations. "These are chess puzzles," she explained. "Some of the best players in the world struggle with these. Want to try one?" Zara nodded. The first one took her 30 seconds, the second less than a minute. By the third, Dr. Chen's hands were shaking. Mr. Blake stood very still. Maria had left the room. And Zara? She just wanted to keep playing. Because something about those golden pieces made her feel alive, like every move on the board was leading her somewhere important, somewhere real, somewhere with answers. The ride home was quiet. Too quiet. Zara hummed to herself in the back seat, half whispering chess terms under her breath. Knight to f3, bishop to e6, check. Maria gripped the steering wheel tightly, her knuckles pale against the leather. She didn't even turn on the radio like she usually did when the silence got too loud. Zara finally asked, "Mama, are you mad?" "No, baby." "You look like you're mad." "I'm not mad. I'm just thinking." Zara looked out the window. Streetlights blinked by like glowing ghosts. "Was Dr. Chen mean?" Maria sighed. No, she wasn't mean. She was impressed.
That's good, right? Yes. Then why do you look sad? Maria didn't answer right away. You remember what I told you about rich people? Not to trust everything they say? Right. Mr. Blake's not like that, Zara said, her voice firmer than usual. He's nice. I know. I like him. Maria's fingers tightened on the steering wheel. I know, she said again, softer this time. That night, Zara got up for water and tiptoed into the kitchen. The light was on. Maria was sitting at the table, that same ribboned box open in front of her. Letters and photos spilled across the table like memories too heavy to hold all at once. One photo caught Zara's eye. Her mother was younger in it, glowing, happy, standing next to a man with gray eyes and a smile that made Zara's stomach twist. She knew that face. Mama? Maria, startled, hurried to close the box. What are you doing up? I was thirsty. Maria nodded. Go on then, get your water and back to bed. But Zara didn't move.
Who was that man in the picture? No one important. He looked like Mr. Blake. Maria froze. Zara's voice dropped to a whisper. He had your smile, Mama. But he had my eyes. Maria slowly gathered the photos, her hands shaking just slightly. There was no man. You're imagining things. But Zara wasn't imagining. She was remembering. That feeling from the library. The way Mr. Blake had looked at her, sad and surprised and familiar. Something was there. And it wasn't just chess. The next day, Zara barely listened in class. During reading time, she doodled chessboards in the margins of her book. At lunch, she pushed peas around her plate like pawns. Her friend Emma squinted at her. You're being weird again. I'm thinking. About chess? Zara nodded. Emma rolled her eyes. You need a new hobby. But Zara didn't want a new hobby. She wanted answers. And maybe another game. Or 10. After school, she bounced into the car. Maria looked nervous. What? Mr. Blake invited us back today. But he has a guest again. Dr. Chen? Yes. Zara's eyes sparkled. Can we play again? Maria hesitated. Just remember, this might not last. People like Mr. Blake, sometimes they change their minds. Zara frowned. But he promised. Maria didn't answer. At the mansion, Mr. Blake was waiting in the library as usual. So was Dr. Chen. She greeted Zara with a warm smile. I've been thinking about you all night. Really? I couldn't sleep. I kept wondering how someone so young could play like that. Zara blushed. I just see it. They played again, 2 games. Zara won both. After the second match, Dr. Chen whispered something to Mr. Blake. Zara caught only a few words. Extraordinary. Once in a generation. She needs training. Maria stood at the door, her arms wrapped tightly across her chest. I'd like to talk to you, Mr. Blake said to her quietly. Maria followed him to the hallway while Zara pretended not to listen. A future, not just a game. She's different. She's just a little girl. We've managed fine without... Not about money, Maria. It's about opportunity, and about her father. Zara's ears burned. Her heart beat like it was caught in a trap. When they returned, Maria's face was tight. We need to go. But I didn't finish my game. Now, Zara. Zara glanced at Mr. Blake, who looked crushed, like he had so much more to say but couldn't. She followed her mother reluctantly. Why did he want to talk about my father? She asked, once they were back in the car. Maria didn't answer. Then, softly, everyone has a father, baby. Sometimes they just can't be with us. Why can't mine? It's complicated. Why does everything grown up have to be complicated? Maria didn't answer that either. That night, Zara lay in bed. the ceiling blurry in the dark. She remembered how Dr. Chen had looked at her, like a scientist discovering a new species, like a puzzle piece that had finally clicked into place. She remembered how Mr. Blake had said her name, how he watched her leave like it physically hurt. And she remembered that photo. The young man beside her mother, the man who looked like her. Maybe she was imagining it, but it didn't feel like imagination. It felt like the start of something real, something that had been hiding on the chessboard this whole time, waiting to be seen. And Zara, the girl who saw patterns and possibilities, was finally starting to understand what kind of game she was really playing. And it wasn't just chess anymore. The next morning, Mr. Blake couldn't sit still. He paced the library like a knight stuck in a corner, too many thoughts blocking his next move. He picked up a pawn, turned it over in his fingers, and sighed. "Dr. Chen," he said into the phone, "can you come again today?" "Of course," she replied. "But why so urgent?" "There's a child I want you to see again. A remarkable child." There was a pause. "The one who beat me yesterday?" she asked. "Yes, but she's not just talented. I think she might be—" He trailed off. Saying the rest out loud felt too big, too close to the truth. "I'll be there at 4, Dr. Chen said. "And Harrison? Try to breathe." He laughed softly. "No promises." At school, Zara was distracted again. During math class, she built imaginary chess positions in the margins of her notebook. During reading time, she imagined each character from Charlotte's Web as a chess piece. Wilbur would be a pawn, of course, brave but small.
"Zara?" She looked up. Mrs. Rodriguez stood over her desk. "What's 12 times 7? Zara blinked. 84. "Correct, but maybe try answering it with your eyes open next time." The class giggled. Zara smiled sheepishly. After school, she bolted to the car again. Maria sat in the driver's seat, quiet. "Are we going?" "We're going," she said. "But there's a visitor again, Dr. Chen, and she might want to watch you play." Zara's heart fluttered. "Is she going to test me?" Maria didn't answer directly. "Just play like you always do, okay? Don't try to be anything else." Zara nodded. "I just want to play." At the mansion, the library door creaked open, and Mr. Blake looked up with a smile that tried and failed to hide his nerves. "Good afternoon, Zara." "Hi, Mr. Blake." Dr. Chen was already setting up the board. Zara noticed something new about her today. Not her clothes or her glasses, but her focus. She looked like someone preparing to run a race. "Would you like to play again?" Dr. Chen asked. Zara nodded. They sat. The pieces were arranged with practiced precision. Dr. Chen moved her pawn. Zara followed. The dance began again. By move 10, Mr. Blake leaned against a bookshelf, arms crossed, watching without blinking. By move 15, Maria had stopped dusting. And by move 20, Zara smiled just a little as she moved her bishop across the board with the grace of a ballerina. "Check," she said, soft as a lullaby. Dr. Chen frowned. 2 moves later, checkmate. The silence afterward lasted almost a full minute. Finally, Dr. Chen said, "That was astonishing." "Did I mess up?" Zara asked nervously. "No," she said. "You blew my mind." Dr. Chen reached into her briefcase and pulled out a thick binder. Inside were puzzles, difficult ones, some of them famously used to train top players. "Would you like to try some chess pictures?" Zara's eyes lit up. "Yes!" She flipped to the first page. A complex arrangement of pieces filled the square. "What should white do to win?" Dr. Chen asked. Zara studied it. "Move the knight here, then the queen pins the rook." Dr. Chen's jaw dropped. That's correct. Next puzzle. Another win. Next one, even harder, solved again. Zara was humming now, a quiet, happy tune she didn't even realize she was making. Finally, Dr. Chen gently closed the binder and turned to Mr. Blake. "Can I speak with you privately?" They stepped away to the far corner of the library. Zara pretended to study the board, but angled her ear just enough.
"She's incredible," Dr. Chen whispered. "This child is not just smart. She's gifted. Prodigy level." Mr. Blake nodded. "I know. With training, she could compete at the national level within a year, maybe sooner." Mr. Blake's voice lowered. "What does that mean for her life?" "Competitions, travel, media, sponsorships, and yes, pressure. A lot of it. She's only 8. The greatest players often start early. If she wants it, she could be world champion someday." Zara's heart pounded. She didn't understand all the words, but she knew what they meant. Something big was happening. That evening, Mr. Blake walked Maria and Zara to their car. The sky was gold and pink and streaked with the kind of clouds that looked painted on. "Maria," he said quietly, "we need to talk." "About what?" "About her future." Maria stiffened. "She's just a girl. She plays a game." "She's more than that. You know she is." Maria's voice rose. "And what? You're suddenly the expert on her life?" "I care about her." "You didn't even know her a month ago." "I think I did know her," he said quietly. "From the moment I saw her." Maria's keys trembled in her hand. "There's something else," Mr. Blake said. "We need to talk about Zara's father." Maria froze. Every muscle in her body locked up. "I don't know what you mean." But her voice cracked just a little. "I think you do." Maria opened the car door. "We need to go." "Maria," she got in, started the engine. Zara waved goodbye. Mr. Blake stood under the streetlight, hands in his pockets, watching them drive away. "Mama?" Zara asked from the back seat. "Yes, baby." "Why did Mr. Blake want to talk about my father?" Maria gripped the steering wheel harder. "I don't know." "But I don't have a father." Maria was quiet for a long, long time. Finally she said, "Everyone has a father. Sometimes they just can't be with us." Zara looked out the window. The clouds had turned from pink to purple. The stars were trying to shine. She wasn't sure why her chest felt tight, or why she couldn't stop thinking about that photo in the box. But something was changing. She could feel it. And for the first time since she picked up a chess piece, she wasn't just excited. She was scared. "She's incredible," Dr. Chen whispered. "This child is not just smart. She's gifted. Prodigy level." Mr. Blake nodded. "I know. With training, she could compete at the national level within a year, maybe sooner." Mr. Blake's voice lowered. "What does that mean for her life?" "Competitions, travel, media, sponsorships, and yes, pressure. A lot of it. She's only 8. The greatest players often start early. If she wants it, she could be world champion someday." Zara's heart pounded. She didn't understand all the words, but she knew what they meant. Something big was happening. That evening, Mr. Blake walked Maria and Zara to their car. The sky was gold and pink and streaked with the kind of clouds that looked painted on. "Maria," he said quietly, "we need to talk." "About what?" About her future. Maria stiffened. She's just a girl. She plays a game. She's more than that. You know she is. Maria's voice rose. And what? You're suddenly the expert on her life? I care about her. You didn't even know her a month ago. I think I did know her, he said quietly. From the moment I saw her. Maria's keys trembled in her hand. There's something else, Mr. Blake said. We need to talk about Zara's father. Maria froze. Every muscle in her body locked up. I don't know what you mean. But her voice cracked just a little. I think you do. Maria opened the car door. We need to go. Maria, she got in, started the engine. Zara waved goodbye. Mr. Blake stood under the streetlight, hands in his pockets, watching them drive away. Mama? Zara asked from the back seat. Yes, baby. Why did Mr. Blake want to talk about my father? Maria gripped the steering wheel harder. I don't know. But I don't have a father. Maria was quiet for a long, long time. Finally she said, Everyone has a father. Sometimes they just can't be with us. Zara looked out the window. The clouds had turned from pink to purple. The stars were trying to shine. She wasn't sure why her chest felt tight, or why she couldn't stop thinking about that photo in the box. But something was changing. She could feel it. And for the first time since she picked up a chess piece, she wasn't just excited. She was scared. The next week, Dr. Chen returned. But this time, she wasn't alone. She brought a colorful flyer, bold letters across the top. Young Champions Chess Tournament, next month. Zara's eyes widened as she stared at the shiny picture of kids just like her, sitting at rows of chessboards, deep in thought. I want to enter her, Dr. Chen said calmly, placing the flyer on the chess table like it was just a normal Tuesday announcement. Maria's mouth fell open. She's 8, she said quickly, like saying it louder would make it less true. She's 8 years old. Age doesn't matter in chess, Dr. Chen said with a gentle smile. What matters is talent. And your daughter has more natural ability than I've seen in 20 years of coaching. Mr. Blake leaned forward, eyes bright. I think we should let her try. It's not your decision, Maria snapped. The words echoed in the library. Even Zara stopped tracing the edge of the chessboard. Maria looked around, realizing her voice had risen. She exhaled slowly and sat down, flustered. I'm sorry, she muttered. I don't want her to get hurt. Zara tugged gently on her mother's sleeve. I want to try, she said softly. Maria turned to look at her. Zara's face wasn't full of excitement like before. It was calm. Sure. Chess is fun. And maybe playing with other kids will be fun too. Maria's eyes searched hers, looking for fear, or confusion, or hesitation. She found none. If you really want to, baby. I do, Zara nodded. I really, really do. 3 weeks later, they were packing bags in their small apartment for a trip Zara could barely imagine. The tournament was in a big city, at a hotel with glass elevators and fountains in the lobby. I've never been to a place with carpet everywhere, Zara whispered as they stepped into the lobby, suitcases rolling behind them. Maria gripped her hand. Stay close, okay? Why are you nervous? Because, Maria hesitated, I just don't want anything bad to happen to you. It's just chess, Mama. But when they walked into the tournament room, Zara understood. Dozens of kids, from age 8 to 16, sat at tables arranged in rows. The boards were identical,
the clocks ticking beside them. Coaches whispered in kids' ears. Parents hovered like bodyguards.
Some of the kids wore suits. Some had National Chess Federation pins. One girl even wore a blazer with her name stitched on it in gold. Zara suddenly felt very small.
"I don't belong here," she whispered.
"Yes, you do," said a voice behind her. She turned to see Mr. Blake dressed in a smart jacket, holding a canvas bag with the corners of a travel chess set poking out. He smiled gently. "You belong here more than anyone." Dr. Chen stood beside him, nodding. "You've already beaten tougher players than most of these kids." They led her to a check-in table. "Zara Thompson?" asked the tournament director.
"That's me,"
she said, her voice tiny. "You're our youngest player this year. Good luck." Her first opponent was a 12-year-old boy named Marcus. He had the kind of confidence that came from trophies, or maybe just from being tall. He wore a t-shirt that said, "Chess Champion," in blocky white letters. When he saw Zara, he laughed. "They're letting babies play now?"
"I'm not a baby,"
Zara said politely. "Same thing," Marcus shrugged. "This'll be over in 10 minutes. They sat. Marcus set up his pieces quickly, slapping them down like he was late for lunch. Zara, meanwhile, arranged hers slowly, touching each one gently, like saying hello. "You can go first," Marcus said, already bored. Zara moved her pawn forward 2 spaces. The game began. At first, Marcus played fast, too fast. He wasn't even really looking. But by the 10th move, he slowed down. By the 15th, he was frowning. By the 20th, other kids had started to gather around their board, whispering to each other.
"Look at that move. She's only 8? She's playing circles around him."
Marcus's face turned red. Zara didn't notice. She was inside the game, floating between strategy and instinct, listening to the quiet music of the pieces. Finally, she moved her queen.
"Checkmate,"
she said gently. The room fell silent. Marcus stared at the board. You beat me," he whispered. Zara nodded.
"Thank you for the game."
Marcus blinked, then, to her surprise, smiled. "That was the best game I've ever played, even though I lost. You're going to be famous someday." Zara won her second game against a girl from Texas, her third against a boy from New York, her fourth against a girl who'd been playing since she was 5.
"Who is that kid?"
someone whispered.
"She makes it look easy."
But during her 5th match, something different happened. Her opponent was a 9-year-old named Sarah, short, serious, and clearly nervous. They played. Zara won. But as the final piece fell, Sarah burst into tears.
"I practiced every day,"
she sobbed.
"I studied books. My coach made me do puzzles until bedtime, and you play like it's just a game."
Zara's heart twisted.
"I didn't mean to make you cry,"
she said softly. Sarah wiped her nose.
"You didn't. It's just not fair."
Zara paused.
"Maybe we could be friends."
Sarah looked up, confused.
"I don't have many friends who like chess,"
Zara said. Sarah blinked.
"You want to be my friend?"
"Sure."
"You love chess like I do. That's all it takes."
Sarah smiled through her tears.
"Okay."
After 6 rounds, Zara was undefeated. The tournament director announced that she was the youngest finalist in the event's history. That night, in their hotel room, Maria sat beside her sleeping daughter. Mr. Blake knocked softly on the door. "She's amazing," he said.
"I know," Maria whispered. "That's what scares me."
"Why?"
"Because this could change everything. Fame, travel, expectations."
"She could have the best education," Mr. Blake said. "Meet incredible people." Maria turned to face him.
Her eyes were glassy. Harrison, we can't keep pretending. Mr. Blake's face went still. Pretending what? You know what. She pointed toward the bed. Look at her. Really look. He did, and his breath caught. She has your eyes, Maria said. Your gift, your mind, your everything. He sat down slowly, like the weight of the truth was finally too much to stand under. She's my daughter, isn't she? Maria nodded. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She's your daughter too.
The next morning, Zara woke up buzzing, but something in the room felt different. The light was on, the curtains were closed, and her mother sat by the window still wearing yesterday's clothes. Her eyes were red. Mama? Zara sat up. Did you sleep? Maria turned slowly and tried to smile, but it wobbled. Come sit with me, baby. Zara padded over, her fuzzy socks making little shushing sounds on the carpet. We need to talk. You, me, and Mr. Blake. But the finals start in 2 hours. Maria reached out and took her hand. This is more important than chess. Zara didn't know what could be more important than chess until they stepped into Mr. Blake's hotel room. It was bigger than theirs, with a fancy couch, a sparkling view of the city skyline, and one enormous silence hanging in the air. Mr. Blake was sitting at the edge of a chair. His gray hair was messier than usual, and he looked like he hadn't slept either. Hi, sweetheart, he said. Zara sat on the couch between them. She looked from Maria to Mr. Blake, then back again. Is something wrong? Maria opened her purse and pulled out something small, something Zara recognized instantly. The photograph, the one from the ribboned box. Zara took it carefully like it might crumble. She stared at it. Her mother, younger, laughing. And beside her, him. The man from her dreams, the man who looked like Mr. Blake. Her eyes flicked up, back down, back up. Her voice came out like a whisper. That looks like you. Mr. Blake gave her a teary smile. That's because it is me. Zara stared at him, at the photo, at her mother. Her heart thudded. I'm your father, Zara. The room tilted just a little. You're my daddy? Mr. Blake nodded, eyes shining. I've wanted to tell you for so long. Zara turned to Maria. You knew? Maria's face crumpled. I'm so sorry, baby. But why didn't you tell me? Because I was scared, Maria said, her voice cracking. I thought people would say I was chasing his money, that we didn't belong in his world. You weren't, Mr. Blake said firmly. You were the kindest, smartest, most beautiful person I'd ever met. And when you disappeared, I didn't know what happened. I looked for you. I just wanted to give you a normal life, Maria whispered to Zara. Away from pressure, from cameras, from people watching everything. Zara looked down at the photograph again. It wasn't just a picture anymore. It was a beginning. Is that why I'm good at chess? She asked. Because you're smart. Mr. Blake laughed softly. Maybe, but mostly because you're brilliant. All on your own. Zara blinked. Her cheeks were hot. Her chest felt full. Are you mad at me? Maria asked, barely audible. Zara thought, then shook her head. I'm sad. I always wanted a daddy, and you were right here. Tears spilled from Maria's eyes. Mr. Blake reached for Zara's hands, big and warm and shaking. "Are you mad at me?" he asked. Zara looked at him for a long moment. "No, but can I still call you Mr. Blake? Daddy feels weird right now." He smiled. "You can call me anything you want. And we can still play chess every day. Every single day." Zara sat back and sighed, like a huge puzzle piece had just clicked into place. "I have one more question." "Anything," Mr. Blake said. "If you're my dad, and Mama is my mum, does that mean we're a family now?" Maria and Mr. Blake looked at each other. That question felt bigger than the hotel room. "We're figuring that out," Maria said carefully. "I want us to be a family," Zara said. "But we should go slow, like a new chess opening. You have to practice before you get good at it." Mr. Blake chuckled. "That's very wise." Zara nodded. "Also, I want to keep my name, Zara Thompson. Maybe later I'll be Zara Thompson Blake. But right now, I like being a Thompson." Maria wiped her eyes and smiled. "You're such a smart little girl." Zara shrugged. "I get it from both of you." A knock at the door startled them. It was Dr. Chen holding a clipboard. "Sorry to interrupt," she said. "The finals start in 1 hour. Is our champion ready?" Zara stood, straightened her shirt and grinned. "I'm ready." Fine. They walked to the tournament hall together, Maria on one side, Mr. Blake on the other. For the first time in her life, Zara wasn't walking alone. The hallway buzzed with reporters and players. Cameras flashed. A dozen voices tried to ask questions at once. "Zara, how do you feel about playing in the finals?" Zara blinked up at the reporter. "I feel nervous, but excited. Chess is like solving puzzles, and I love puzzles." "Do you think you can beat someone twice your age?" She paused. "I don't know, but I'll try my best." Inside, the room was packed, hundreds of eyes, dozens of chessboards. A championship table in the center. Her opponent, David Martinez, age 16, 5-time tournament winner. Black hair, dark eyes, focused like a laser. "I don't want to hurt the little girl's feelings," he told reporters earlier. "But this is a serious competition. I've trained for this my whole life." Backstage, Dr. Chen knelt beside Zara. "Remember what we talked about. Don't think about winning, just play the best game I can." "Exactly." Zara nodded. But she kept glancing at the seats, at Maria, at Mr. Blake. "Are you okay?" Dr. Chen asked. "I think so." Then she looked up. Her voice was small. "But what if I lose?" Dr. Chen smiled. "Then you lose, and you learn, and you keep going. What if I disappoint everyone?" Dr. Chen leaned close. "Zara, listen to me. You could lose every game for the rest of your life, and you'd still be amazing. Chess doesn't make you special. You make chess special." Zara breathed out, then smiled. "Let's go have some fun." The championship board gleamed under the lights, as if it, too, understood the gravity of the moment. Zara took her seat, her legs swinging slightly above the floor. Across from her, David Martinez sat with all the confidence of a boy used to winning. He wore a sleek black blazer and adjusted his watch like he was preparing for a business meeting rather than a chess match. She looked small. He looked ready. But Zara wasn't nervous anymore. Not exactly. A little scared, sure, but not the shaky kind.
The excited kind, like when you're about to unwrap a gift you didn't know you wanted. "Good luck," David said, holding out his hand. "Good luck to you too," Zara replied, shaking it politely. The tournament director stepped forward, cleared his throat, and announced, "Let the championship game begin." The room hushed. David played white, so he went first. A classic king's pawn opening, fast, precise.
Zara answered just as smoothly. The early game unfolded with grace and sharp lines. David played aggressively, trying to catch her off guard. But Zara didn't panic. Her hands moved piece by piece like she was painting on the board, with strategy instead of color. The crowd leaned in. "This isn't just chess," someone whispered. "This is something else." A woman in the second row gasped softly after Zara's ninth move. A man scribbled notes furiously. Reporters stopped whispering and just watched, stunned. Zara wasn't playing like a child. She was playing like someone who'd been here before. David frowned. He'd expected a quick victory, a show-off win to add to his list. But Zara wasn't folding. She was building, creating. Every pawn placed with purpose, every knight jumping like it knew exactly where to land. From the audience, Maria clutched Harrison's hand so tightly his knuckles turned white. "She's amazing," she whispered. "She gets it from her mother," Harrison whispered back. "No," Maria said with a small smile. "She gets it from both of us." An hour passed, then two. Still no clear winner. David adjusted in his seat. Sweat shimmered at his temple. Zara tilted her head slightly, her eyes tracing invisible lines across the board. Every piece whispered its purpose to her. She didn't hear the audience anymore, didn't see the cameras or the blinking scoreboard. Just the game. Just the board. Just the moment. In the third hour, it happened. Zara saw something. Not a mistake. A possibility. She picked up her queen and set it on a square that looked, to most people, like a dangerous position. The room buzzed. David leaned in. Was it a bluff? A trick? He stared at the board for a long time. He looked for the trap. Tried to predict 5 moves ahead. 10. He saw nothing wrong. So he moved. And walked right into it. Zara's bishop slid across the board like it had been waiting its whole life for this exact moment. "Check," she said quietly. David's eyebrows jumped. He moved his king, the only legal option left. Zara followed up with her knight. The room held its breath. Then, without a flicker of hesitation, she moved her final piece into place. "Checkmate." The entire hall erupted. Applause thundered like a summer storm. People jumped to their feet. Reporters shouted. Cameras flashed like fireflies. But Zara didn't notice any of it, not at first, because David was smiling. "That was the most beautiful game I've ever played," he said. "Thank you." Zara smiled back. "You played really well." "You're going to be world champion someday," he said, shaking her hand. Zara turned toward the crowd, not the cameras, but her parents. Maria and Mr. Blake were rushing toward her, tears in their eyes. "You did it!" Maria cried, scooping her into a hug. Mr. Blake knelt beside them, breathless. "You were brilliant!" The tournament director approached, holding a trophy almost as tall as Zara herself. "Zara Thompson," he said loudly. "At 8 years old, you are the youngest tournament champion in our history." Cheers filled the room again. A photographer handed Zara a giant check. $10,000? She gasped, eyes wide. "That's real money," Mr. Blake chuckled. "What do I do with that?" Maria opened her mouth, but Zara was already speaking again.
"Can we use it to buy chess sets for kids who don't have any, so they can learn too?"
The room fell quiet for a moment.
Then the applause came back even louder. That night, in the hotel restaurant, Zara sat between Maria and Mr. Blake wearing her tournament medal and a grin too big to hide. "I still can't believe I won," she said for the 10th time. Maria sipped her tea, smiling softly. "I can." "We're so proud of you," Mr. Blake added. Zara yawned mid-spoonful of ice cream. Her body was exhausted. Her brain, too. But her heart? It felt light, whole. As she leaned against her mother's shoulder and closed her eyes, Mr. Blake looked at Maria across the table. "She's going to have a different life now." Maria nodded. "People will want to train her, sponsor her, make her famous." "Only if she wants that," Mr. Blake said. Maria looked down at her sleeping daughter. "She's still just a little girl who loves to play chess." "She's our little girl now," Mr. Blake said softly. "She always was," Maria whispered. "You just didn't get to act like her father until now." They sat in silence for a while, letting the day settle over them like a soft blanket. "So, what happens next?" Maria asked. Mr. Blake looked at his daughter, her curls messy, her medal slightly askew. "Now," he said, "we figure out how to be the family we were always meant to be." Outside the restaurant windows, the city lights sparkled like the stars had come down to celebrate. And inside, a family that had once been scattered like lost pieces on a board had finally found their way back together, one move at a time.
3 months later, life looked very different, and yet beautifully the same. Zara still lived with her mother in their cozy 2-bedroom apartment. The curtains still fluttered when the wind blew just right. The stove still made that funny clicking noise. But now, a new rhythm filled the walls. A rhythm that included Mr. Blake every single day. "Good morning, sunshine," he said, stepping into the kitchen with a bag of fresh bagels and a thermos of hot chocolate. Zara grinned from the kitchen table where she was finishing her cereal. "Hi, Dad." He tried to hide it, the way his chest rose every time she called him that. But he failed. Every single time. She had started using Dad 2 weeks ago. Quietly. Casually. Now it came easily. "Ready for school?" Maria asked, appearing in the doorway with her work bag over her shoulder. "Almost. Dad and I are finishing our morning puzzle." Indeed, a small travel chessboard sat between the cereal bowl and the juice glass. A knight hung in the balance, mid-air. Maria smiled as she adjusted her blazer. She didn't clean houses anymore. Not since she had accepted Mr. Blake's offer to return as his assistant. But this time, she wasn't an employee. She was a partner, a co-parent, a part of something whole. "Knight to 4, Zara said, dropping the piece. "Check." Mr. Blake blinked. "Excuse me?" "You heard me." He leaned back and grinned. "She's been studying." "She's been plotting," Maria teased. "Same thing," Zara replied, slipping on her backpack. Dr. Chen still visited twice a week. Some of the world's best chess trainers wanted to work with Zara. There were offers from private academies, scholarships, even television interviews. But Zara had made her wishes very clear. "I want to stay in regular school," she said one night at dinner. "With my friends. Chess is fun, but I also want to learn about science and art and music and recess." Maria and Mr. Blake looked at each other and nodded. "You're sure?" Harrison asked. "I already have the best chess coach in the world," she said. He raised an eyebrow. "You?" That one took his breath away for a good 10 seconds. At Lincoln Elementary, Zara returned like a tiny celebrity. The other kids didn't care about tournament trophies, but they did care when Zara brought a magnetic chessboard to recess and started teaching people how the knight moves. "You're making chess cool," her friend Emma declared.
Before you, I thought it was just a grown-up thing for people who wear ties and never smile. Chess isn't boring, Zara replied, placing a rook down with flair. It's like having a battle with your brain. Emma wrinkled her nose. You're a little scary when you talk like that. Zara shrugged.
Fame, however, had its downside. Sometimes reporters called the school. Sometimes strangers asked for photos at the grocery store. Sometimes people expected Zara to act like an adult just because she was good at a complicated game. One evening, she sat at the kitchen table, chin in her hands. I don't like all the attention, she said. I just want to be a normal kid who happens to be good at chess. You don't owe anyone anything, Mr. Blake said gently. Being good at chess doesn't mean you belong to the world. You belong to us. But people keep saying I have a responsibility. Maria knelt beside her. Your only responsibility, she said firmly, is to be happy and kind. Everything else is extra. Then one day, a special visitor arrived. He stepped out of a black car in front of the mansion, wearing a gray coat and a serious face. Grandmaster Petrov, the current world champion. I wanted to meet this little girl who beat everyone, he said in a deep, careful voice. He and Zara played a single game in the mansion library. She lost, but she learned 3 new strategies, asked 4 excellent questions, and made the Grandmaster smile. You have a gift, he said afterward, not just for winning, but for bringing joy to the game. Will you teach me more? He shook his head. You don't need teaching, you need playing. Play with joy, not pressure. Play because you love it, not because you have to. That night, Zara sat on a living room rug between her parents, braiding and unbraiding a shoelace. I've been thinking. Oh boy, Maria said, here it comes. I want to keep playing chess, Zara said, but I want to do it my way. What's your way? Mr. Blake asked. I want to have fun, help other kids learn, spend time with my family, and maybe learn to play the piano too. Maria nodded slowly. That sounds perfect. Zara grinned. Also, I want to beat Dad more often so he doesn't get too proud. Mr. Blake laughed. You already beat me most of the time. I let you win sometimes, Zara said with a smirk, so you don't get sad. They laughed until their sides ached. It wasn't just the chess anymore. It was the joy, the comfort, the family. 6 months after the tournament, Zara did something no one expected. She asked her school if she could start a chess club. They said yes. Every Friday after school, kids from all grades gathered in the library with mismatched boards and snacks from home. Zara led with patience and humor. You don't have to be great, she told the new members. You just have to try. Some kids were naturals. Some struggled. Some came just for the juice boxes. But everyone felt welcome. And slowly, the club grew. One school became 2, then 5, then 10. Zara helped each one get chess sets, using the money from her tournament prize and a toy company she'd charmed in a TV interview. Every kid should get to try chess, she told the host. You never know who might fall in love with it. Back home, the 3 of them invented a new tradition, family chess. Instead of playing against each other, they played together, taking turns solving puzzles and working as a team. This is my favorite game, Zara announced one evening. Why? Maria asked. Because in this one, we all win together. The snow fell outside their window, soft as feathers. Inside, the fire crackled. The chess pieces waited. Zara leaned over the board and moved a knight to a perfect square. Mr. Blake smiled. Maria brought mugs of cocoa topped with extra marshmallows. I love you both so much, Zara said suddenly. They leaned in and hugged her tight. We love you too. Mr. Blake kissed the top of her head. We're the luckiest family in the world. Zara pulled back slightly and grinned. Not lucky, she said. We just finally learned how to play the game right. And in that moment, surrounded by laughter, light, and love, they all knew. The most beautiful victories aren't always won on a chessboard. Some are won right there, in the living room. one move at a time. The leaves had started to turn golden when Zara's chess club held its first inter-school tournament. The Lincoln Elementary Library buzzed with excitement. Paper signs with team names hung from the windows. Chessboards were spread across every table, and someone had even brought cupcakes shaped like pawns. Zara stood at the front holding a little clipboard and wearing her lucky blue hoodie. "We're going to start in 10 minutes, she called out. "You sound like a principal," Emma whispered beside her. "I do not." Emma tilted her head. "Okay, a very short principal." Zara rolled her eyes, but she grinned. "You're just mad because I put you on Team Bishop." "I wanted Team Queen." "Well, maybe if you stop losing in 3 moves." "Rude," Emma said, laughing. The day flew by, matches, giggles, tears, snacks, and even a spontaneous game of musical chairs during the lunch break. Mr. Blake and Maria stood in the back of the room, watching it all. "She built this," Maria said softly. "She did," Harrison nodded. "And she's only getting started." That evening, Zara sat cross-legged on the floor of the apartment, sorting medals and thank-you notes from other schools. "I want to write letters back," she said. "Right now?" Maria asked. "It's almost bedtime." "Just one," Zara said, picking up a crayon and a note card. "To the kid from Oakwood who was afraid to join. I saw her watching. I think next time she'll play." "She will if she gets that letter," Mr. Blake said. "You're a good teacher, Zara." Zara shrugged. "I just tell people the pieces are like people. They all move differently, but they all matter. Even pawns." Maria raised an eyebrow. "Is that your chess philosophy?" Zara nodded. "And also that snacks make tournaments better." "Deep," Mr. Blake said, chuckling. "I'm full of wisdom," Zara replied, scribbling a smiley face on her note. Later that week, Zara's story made it into the Sunday Times. The headline read, "8-year-old champion changes the game and the rules." Inside the article were photos of her laughing with other kids, teaching someone how to castle, and holding up a cardboard trophy someone had made out of cereal boxes and glitter glue. "I look like I'm about to sneeze," Zara said, holding up the paper. "You look proud," Maria corrected. "I am proud," Zara admitted. Then she paused. "But I still don't want to be famous." "You don't have to be," Harrison said. "But everyone keeps asking about the next tournament, the next game, the next big win." Maria sat beside her. "What do you want next?" Zara thought. She looked at her hands, her fingers always busy moving pieces, scribbling moves, solving puzzles. "I want balance," she said. "Balance?" "I want chess to stay fun. I want friends, and sleepovers, and maybe a dog. And I still want to beat Dad sometimes." "You say that like it's hard," Harrison said with a grin. Zara smirked. "I let you win yesterday." "You did not." "I definitely did." Maria laughed. "Don't argue with the champ." The following weekend, Zara surprised everyone, again. At a school assembly, she gave a short speech. No fancy script, just a microphone, a lot of nerves, and that signature Zara honesty. "Chess isn't just about being smart," she said. "It's about seeing, like really seeing things." She looked out at the crowd of classmates. And not just on the board. People, too. Everyone moves differently. Some of us jump like knights, some of us go straight like rooks. But we all have a role, even if we're scared, even if we feel small. In the audience, Maria wiped her eyes. "And sometimes," Zara continued, "you don't know where you belong until someone sees you. Like, really sees you." She looked toward the back at Mr. Blake. "And that's when everything changes." The applause that followed wasn't loud. It was warm, the kind that comes from understanding, from connection, from love. That night, the 3 of them sat on the floor again, this time not playing chess, but building a bookshelf.
The directions were in Swedish, the screws were tiny, and Mr. Blake had already installed a shelf upside down. "We are not good at this," he muttered. "You're not," Maria teased. "Zara and I are carrying this team." "I just got stabbed by an Allen wrench," Mr. Blake mumbled. Zara giggled. "You okay, Dad?" "I'll live, but I may never build furniture again." They finally finished, barely, and stood back to admire their wobbly but charming creation. "We did it," Maria said. "Teamwork," Zara added. "Checkmate to IKEA," Harrison concluded, rubbing his wrist. Zara looked up at them and smiled. "I don't need a castle," she said. "Just a home. And I have one now." The snow came early that year. One morning Zara woke up to a world blanketed in white. Her window was frosted, and her breath made tiny clouds in the cold air. She ran into the living room to find her parents already awake, sipping coffee, the chessboard set up between them. "Can I join?" "Always," Maria said, scooting over. Zara sat between them, pulling a blanket over her shoulders. She reached for a piece, then paused. "This is my favorite time," she whispered. "Why's that?" Mr. Blake asked. "Because I'm not playing against anyone," she said. "I'm playing with my people." Maria kissed her on the forehead. "You are our favorite move." Zara smiled, and as they sat there, together, safe, warm, the board in front of them faded into the background. Because sometimes the best moves in life don't happen in tournaments or newspapers. They happen in small apartments, at kitchen tables, on snowy mornings, where love is the opening, family is the strategy, and joy is the victory. Spring arrived slowly, like a shy guest at a party. The snow melted in quiet patches, the trees woke up one branch at a time, and on one particularly breezy Friday afternoon, Zara sat cross-legged in the school library, surrounded by kids and chessboards and the happy buzz of her club. "Remember," she said, pointing to the white knight on the board, "this piece moves in an L shape, like a little hop and a skip." A first grader furrowed his brow. "But why can't it just go straight?" "Because it's sneaky," Zara whispered. "It likes surprises." The boy grinned and moved his knight like he was letting it in on a secret. From the doorway, Maria and Mr. Blake watched quietly. "She belongs here," Maria said. "She belongs everywhere," Harrison replied. Zara didn't notice them yet. She was too busy helping two girls figure out how to castle, or refereeing a debate over whether a pawn had actually reached the last row. It hadn't. But then she looked up, saw them, waved, and beamed. That night at dinner, Zara was unusually quiet. She twirled spaghetti on her fork, stared out the window, and didn't even tease Mr. Blake when he dropped his spoon twice. "Everything okay, kiddo?" he asked. Zara nodded slowly. "I was just thinking." "Oh boy," Maria teased. "That usually means a big idea is coming." Zara smiled, but it faded quickly. "Do you think I'll always love chess?" They looked at her. "What do you mean?" Maria asked gently. "I mean, what if one day I don't? What if it gets too hard, or too serious, or not fun anymore?" Mr. Blake reached across the table and took her hand. "Then you stop," he said simply. "No trophies, no records, no games are more important than your joy." "And your heart," Maria added. "We'll be proud of you no matter what." Zara nodded, comforted, but still curious. "Okay," she said. "But I think I'll keep loving it." "Why?" Harrison asked. "Because I love what it brings out in people. I love how it makes my brain feel, and—" She looked at both of them. "I love that it brought me you." Maria's eyes shimmered. Harrison swallowed hard. "That's a pretty good reason," he whispered.
Weeks passed. The chess club grew. Zara visited other schools, sometimes dragging along her parents to carry extra boards. She taught teachers how to make it fun. She answered emails from faraway places, a school in Kenya, a group in Indiana, a library in Manila. Kids everywhere wanted to learn, not because someone told them to, but because they'd heard about a girl who made the game human. Not just moves, but meaning. On Zara's 9th birthday, something small but magical happened. After cake and silly songs and a chocolate stain on Mr. Blake's shirt, Zara opened her final gift, a small, flat box. Inside, a hand-carved wooden pawn. Nothing flashy, no gold, no crystal, just smooth, warm wood. But it had her initials etched on the bottom, ZTB. Zara Thompson Blake. She traced the letters with her finger. "I know you still want to be a Thompson," Mr. Blake said gently. "But I thought, maybe sometimes you could be both." Zara looked up. "I am both," she said. "Every day." She set the pawn in the center of the table. "Let's play a new kind of game," she said. "What kind?" Maria asked. "One where we all play together, as a team." "Aren't we always a team?" Mr. Blake asked. Zara grinned. "Now we have official pieces." The new game was a hit. They called it Family Chess version 2.0. Each player took turns solving puzzles, moving one piece, then passing it along. No winners, just possibilities. Collaboration. It became their thing. Even when they went on vacation, which, thanks to Harrison's airline points, became more frequent, they brought a travel board. They played in parks, at airport gates, on hotel beds with crumb-filled sheets. Sometimes Zara won, sometimes she lost. Sometimes she forgot the score because she was laughing too hard. One night, as summer crept close, they sat on the balcony of their apartment, wrapped in blankets, eating frozen grapes and watching the city twinkle. Zara leaned into Maria's side, sleepy but smiling. "Do you think chess will always be part of my life?" she asked. "I think the best parts of chess will be," Maria said. "What parts are those?" Mr. Blake chimed in. "The parts that teach you to pause, to think ahead, to learn from mistakes." "And the part where you see people," Maria added. "Not just their moves," Zara said, "but their hearts." Maria and Mr. Blake exchanged a glance. Exactly. That weekend, they hosted a neighborhood chess picnic. Blankets on the grass, boards balanced on baskets, juice boxes and cookies, and kids playing in the sunshine. Zara walked from group to group, helping, laughing, encouraging. "You're like a chess superhero," one little girl told her. Zara chuckled. "Nah, I'm just someone who loves the game." "You're a champion, though," the girl said, eyes wide. Zara knelt beside her. "Can I tell you a secret?" she whispered. The girl nodded. "The best champions aren't the ones who win the most games," Zara said. "They're the ones who help the most people play." That night, as the sun disappeared behind the city skyline and the stars winked on like shy candles, Zara sat with her parents at the kitchen table. Chess pieces sat scattered across the board mid-game. "Can I tell you a secret now?" Zara said. "Always," Maria replied. "I used to think winning that tournament was the best thing that ever happened to me." "It was pretty great," Harrison said. "But it wasn't." They waited. Zara looked at both of them, her mother, with her steady warmth and fierce love, her father, with his gentle eyes and open heart. "The best thing," she said slowly, "was finding my family, finding out where I belong." Silence wrapped around them, soft as a hug. Then Mr. Blake smiled. "You were never lost, sweet pea. We just had to find our way back to you." Zara reached forward and moved a pawn. "Check," she whispered.
And in that quiet, ordinary kitchen, with crumbs on the table and love in the air, she smiled. Not because she had won, but because finally, she had everything she needed. A family, a purpose, and a game that would always remind her who she was. Not just a chess champion, but a girl who turned a single move into a lifetime of meaning.